And we're back with another episode of Lakers Latest. I'm Gerald Glassford, the host of the Lakers Latest podcast, part of the Fan Arc Network. Please like and subscribe. Subscribe today to get the latest notifications on when we go live with the latest Lakers Latest, especially if you hit that notification bell. It'll let you know when the latest Lakers Latest gets uploaded by my friends at the Fan Arc Network. And speaking of the guys at the Fan Arc Network, guys and gals, right there for you at the Fan Arc Network, please make sure you go ahead and stop on over to their big channel just by typing in a YouTube search Fan Arc, and the Fan Arc Network comes right up. And right there on their big main channel is a bunch of shows featuring a bunch of teams you need to check out today. So stop on by the Fan Arc Network and make sure you give them a like and subscribe as well. Well, the Lakers frying pan into the fire. Of course, we knew the bad news that I've been giving you the past couple days in regards to the injuries suffered by Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. Luka is now overseas. Last seen, I believe, in Spain. It's the last thing I saw on my feed is him signing autographs in Spain, seeking treatment for his grade 2 hamstring pull. So we'll see if he can get some type of experimental or I guess just type of treatment that's out there that maybe you can't get in the States. So hopefully that will speed up the process for his hamstring troubles. With, of course, Austin Reeves, I don't think he traveled to Europe. I think he's still stateside getting work done on his oblique injury. Then the Lakers, unfortunately, fell to the Rookie of the Year, possibly. I know that Frank has already, as a Dallas Mavericks fan, that I truly appreciate him stopping by because he's always been a great admirer of our shows that I do. He is rooting for and thinks that Cooper Flag is Rookie of the Year, as he'll explain in the comments. But yeah, they matched up against him on Sunday and didn't get the job done. The Lakers did. So the Lakers back into the fire on Tuesday night. This Tuesday night, tonight, it's going to be the Lakers and the OKC Thunder at the Crypt. We'll see what the Lakers have there. Of course, those two are out. Marcus Smart is still listed as out with that ankle contusion, and LeBron is now going to be questionable. I'm assuming he's going to be questionable for maybe at least one more time, if not more, for the rest of the season. But he is questionable, as last reported on the injury report. So we'll see if he is a go for game time. We'll, of course, have that here on the recap of the game that I'll have after the Lakers and OKC. So just wanted to go ahead and mention that as well. But again, the Lakers facing off against OKC. Now knowing when they hit the floor later today on Tuesday that they're in fourth place. They're in fourth place in the Western Conference. I guess Denver liked the overtime games so much they had another one against the Portland Trailblazers, but were victorious in that one as well, like they were in their great victory over San Antonio over the weekend. So now they are ahead of the Lakers by a half game in the Western Conference. I don't know if that's going to be something attainable for the Lakers to go ahead and get back. I do know that the names on the rest of the schedule for Denver still look pretty tough, including San Antonio again and OKC. But will they be playing their players when they face off against Denver? At least their top players. We'll have to wait and see who they play. I do know that Victor Wembanyama suffered a rib contusion in a game on Monday night. So we'll have to wait and see what his status is going forward. But yes, right now the Lakers are in fourth place as they go ahead and hit the court against OKC later today at the Crypt. So yes, very interesting to see how that will all play itself out. Luka's in Europe. Austin's healing. Marcus Smart was wearing, was like a Hawaiian shirt he was wearing in Dallas. I don't know. It was an interesting shirt that he was wearing. So he's on the mend. So the Lakers are still going to be shorthanded as they face the OKC Thunder on Tuesday night. Did want to go ahead and mention that. We'll talk a little bit about more of that about as far as in the comments are concerned about what rotations JJ will play. that's the case. But before we head there, I did want to go ahead and congratulate. I think I mentioned on this one that I congratulated UCLA, the UCLA women, on winning their first ladies national championship on Sunday. Well, on Monday, the Michigan Wolverines won their second national title with a victory over Connecticut, and Dan Hurley coaching that team. Us Lakers fans are probably not too crying too much about that because you know how he spurned the Lakers. He was working, as they say in wrestling. He was working the Lakers in order to go ahead and get a sweeter gig and a sweeter deal at his current place of employment, Connecticut, and he got one. And he also has gotten three finals appearances in the past 4 years, but it was all for naught as Michigan kind of still stayed ahead of Connecticut by what 6 to 10 points most of the way, and they do get the victory. They got some kids that might be available to the Lakers. Morez Johnson Jr. has been talked about. I know I've said about Ademara. I'm just looking for size, whether it's a power forward, because there's a lot of power forwards in the draft 6'9, 6'10, 6'11 kids that's got some beef and has got some rebounding prowess that might be available in that spot wherever the Lakers pick, which is going to be right now somewhere between 21 and 25, looking like. We'll have to wait and see how it all plays itself out there. But could be some interesting picks. Or do you go with size like Ademar at 7'3", or maybe Krivas, who was in that semifinal game playing for Arizona? He's 7'2", 260. You know, those two kids had a, in case of Mara, a really good game, and Krivas had a decent game as well. And it's funny, the next day I saw Tankathon's mock draft that had actually dropped both those guys, raised those guys back up a little bit as far as is concerned into that area. So it's kind of amusing how that went. And I know that there has been some ESPN analysts, draft analysts, that have talked about size for the Lakers, and Krivas maybe being a steadier player, but Mara may have a little bit more of an upside as far as what the things he can do out there on the floor. Good passer. I still not saw him. He's a good passer as far as at the top of the key or interior passing. And then, of course, both seem to be pretty good as far as their hands and the lobs are concerned, as far as taking care of that. Because, Luka loves lobs, and we'll go ahead and that. Or there's other good players too. So we'll get in more into the draft as we go along with this show here in the coming days and weeks as far as it's concerned. But I wanted to go ahead and congratulate the Michigan Wolverines on winning the national title. And, all I'll say is this. I did talk to my family and tell them, that I had picked them. I wish I would have been able to put money here in Vegas. I wish I should have put money here in Vegas on them because they had some okay odds. They were still, of course, they're number one seed, so they're one of the highest ranked teams or lowest odds as far as is concerned. But I still would have gotten some money back on it. But again, with that, I did pick in the ESPN Tournament Challenge them as the team that would go all the way. 94.7 percentage as far as is concerned for me, which leaves me as a rank of 1,473,509. So yes, I'm in the top 1.5 million. Woohoo! Yeah, there you go. But I did pick Michigan as my winner, indeed. So that was actually something really cool there. But before we head out, we got to go ahead and take care of your comments. Love your comments. Keep them coming. I want to go ahead and make sure I got you covered on that. I'm going to start with my man Pinty because he sent the latest one. Yes, Wimby now rib injury. Yes, a rib contusion. He might have the same injury like Austin Reeves has. Well, it might be a rib contusion. I don't know as compared to what we saw with Austin. Austin was reaching high. If you take a look at social media, they actually have the play. Lakers were down by 9 at the time, early in the game, and he was reaching high when that in an almost like an unnatural position or an unnatural angle like that, reaching back, and I think that's what really did it. But that's more of a issue there with different types of things with the rib bruise as opposed to the oblique muscle injury. But again, we'll see if it could be a similar time frame, a similar timeline for him if he's out. We'll have to wait and see on that and get the official word probably tomorrow or in the next couple of days on Victor Wembanyama. So I think you can pretty much at this point shut down, the San Antonio Spurs right now for the rest of the season after something like that happens and get them all prepped for the playoffs. Yeah, that I know that Pinty was asking about would I waive Kobe Buffkin for Cole Anthony or Spencer Dinwiddie. At this point, I mean, if you bring either one in, they're just playing for 4 games. Which, as a ball handler, the Lakers obviously need at this point in time. But for the next 4 games, that's what they have. They're not eligible for the playoffs. So he said, or should we just concentrate on the next season? Well, we should concentrate on getting rid of the GM. Rob Pelinka is not high on my list. As we're seeing in some of your comments, play the young guys, play the young guys. JJ doesn't play the guys. Again, whatever your thoughts on JJ, you have to admit that the Lakers just don't have quality players or players that give us confidence even when you play them. Because if you play them, you're going to lose more games because of it. But why not? If you're going to this point, at this point, you need to go ahead and limit your minutes for LeBron and some of the starters that are going to play in the first round of the playoffs. So you do play more of the young guys, but that means you are sacrificing, some things because those guys at the end of the roster are just not NBA. They're just not going to advance you as an NBA team as much as you would like to have it. As far as guys at the 8th, 9th, 10th, 12th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th van, the two ways, they just are not going to give you what you need at this point. But at this point, you do want to go ahead and rest LeBron the playoffs. And the thing right now is just wanted to go ahead and before I get into some other comments, but thank you, Pinty. Appreciate as always your comments. I do want to mention the fact that right now, Minnesota looks like they're out of the running for the 4 spot for the Lakers. It's either going to look like be the Lakers or Houston at this point because the way the schedule's set up. And Houston, as much as we were down on them, as much as everybody was down on them, especially after the 2 straight losses against the Lakers, they have won 6 in a row. They're one of the hottest teams in the NBA right now. And they are within a game of the Lakers right now in the Western Conference. And with the tiebreaker, though, with the Lakers, they still have to win one more than that to go ahead and pass the Lakers to host or be the hosting team, the one that gets 4 out of 7 games in the first round of the Western Conference playoffs. So we'll see what happens with that, but it looks like it's either Lakers or Rockets at 4-5 at this point. So we will see what happens indeed. And then, of course, with what's going on with Minnesota, they're just been as bad as the Lakers have been as of late, but it looks like they're going to probably hold on to 6th place in the Western Conference. So, yes, I appreciate Pinty you going ahead and sharing your thoughts. Isaac says a first-round knockout, no point in rushing the back. That's the mindset of a lot of people. I would agree, but I do like the fact that, Luka is trying everything, even some things that are not as conventional as far as treatment for the injury. So I'm just hoping and keeping my fingers crossed that it will not lead to a larger injury with Luka or Austin that will have them out the first part of next season. So we will wait and see what happens there. But definitely appreciate Isaac you watching as well. I wanted to go ahead. My man Craig, Jake's defense goes in streaks. Well, that streak has not been very good. He's an active kid, but you could see there's just he's adequate. That's all he is. He's adequate. He's active, but he when you put him out there against a top offensive player or even a good offensive player, it's a very tall task for him to go ahead and be able to defend at that level. He's just not that good of a defender. He's an average defender, and he's very active, which is always in his favor. But again, he's just you saw in the past couple games exactly where the gap is as far as who he can defend and who he cannot. As far as it's concerned, JJ again played starters too many minutes and risked further injuries for the starters. Yes, he is. Didn't use the bench that much. Adu, what's up with him? To his that Detroit game, Craig. I think something happened there with him. 2 minutes and the kid is out, and then he's out with knee management for the next 3 or 4 games after that. Uh, Did he worry about hurting the guy? I don't know. It seems like with Adu, there's just the kid was caught with deer caught in headlights in Detroit, and it was just really I felt bad for the kid. It just looked so bad. Um, but I'd like to see him get a chance before the end of the season. I know Pinty is begging the Lakers to go ahead and JJ to go ahead and play the young guys. He says if it's a 4 or 5 seed, who cares? At this point, who cares? Because again, Houston, even if they go into a series now and Houston's on the road for 4 games, it looks like they would be favored against the Lakers without the 2 top players for the Lakers, indeed. So, yeah, it's going to be a great concern for us going forward. Palinka deserves a lot of the blame. Yes, he does. I am very set in that. And, Craig, on our site, on my other channel, there's mostly guys that are not in favor of Palinka, but there are some supporters, and just I just don't. The body of work tells me otherwise as far as him being more than just a slightly below average GM. He's gotten a couple good trades. You got to give him credit for that. But the body of work over the past years, his talent evaluation for filling out rosters is just not that good. It's just not that good. And again, I want someone in there that knows how to build a team from point A to point B to point C, and we don't have that right now. And I'm very concerned because the Lakers are going to have a lot of cap space and room to build a team, but I just don't know if it'll be a good one at this point. I don't have any confidence in Rob Pelinka, if that's makes sense right there. The team has no bench. Don't play starters over 30 minutes. You're not beating OKC in your dreams. Player bench at this point, yeah. Are you punting OKC at this point? You might have to, because the fact that it's just at this point you want to start saving your guys, the guys that are going to play in a playoff setting, some minutes as far as getting them some rest. So play the young guys. Why not? At this point, like you said, you're not beating OKC in your dreams, according to Craig. And I can't say I disagree with him because the odds are heavily in their favor for later today. LeBron in a normal position is playing great. Luke was great. Also, uh, I disagree with you on Luke Kennard, Craig, because again, while it was a triple double, LeBron obviously was grading energy with himself. 30 points, 9 rebounds, 15 assists. Great performance from him run him. Luke and him were the guys running the offense. It took away from what Luke can do best, and that's stretching the floor. And you saw how badly he shot because he's trying to do everything else, plus guard flag, which he might have just as well waved the flag the way he was playing defense on him, which is the problem why he's been bouncing around to so many different teams. I don't think he was great. I think he was very good at what the task was given in front of him as far as, hey, I'm going to be able to ask you to go ahead and help run the offense and do the best you can there. That's fine. And as far as trying to facilitate the ball, trying to go ahead and rebound on the defensive end and do a lot of things that Luka does on a normal basis that we all take for granted sometimes. He was very good at doing that, but you saw it came at a cost. He was out there more minutes, exposed on the defensive end, and his shot was just absolutely terrible on Sunday because of what he was doing and what he was asked to do. But given the circumstances, Craig, I mean, I can't say I blame him for that. I'm not mad at all. What are you going to do if you're JJ? You only have so many players that can actually do those type of things and run an offense. Bronny came in there and was better on offense than he was defense, which I thought was supposed to be his bread and butter, but he got royally destroyed 2 games in a row in OKC by Cason Wallace and also as well by Brandon Williams in Dallas. So, yeah, not many places to go. I mean, Luke Kennard was asked to have a great task, and he did that part of it really well. But again, it came at a great cost. So I'd say it was a very good performance for him, and asking him to do something he not normally has to do. And then LeBron putting him back in the facilitator mode, but we all know well from the 2020. I mean, 39 and 15. I don't know how much more you can ask from an individual at 41 on that, and he did his best. And the Lakers just, you think the one thing that they were going to do, be able to do better without Luca and Austin lineup, was play better defense, but Marcus Smart wasn't there either. But they just couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it, and hopefully somehow we'll pull off the miracle for later today against Oklahoma City. But yes, play the young guys a little bit more. That's fine. If it saves LeBron some minutes, and the starters some minutes, and the guys who are going to actually play in the playoffs some minutes, that's fine. Absolutely do it. My man Frank wanted to go ahead and close out with him. He's a noted Mavericks supporter, but he has been part of what we've been doing now off and on for years, and I'm grateful for him following us all over. He doesn't have to, and I'm just very appreciative of it when a non-Lakers fan always becomes a positive part of the community on Lakers Latest or my other channels. So I'm very grateful to you, Frank, on that. Cooper Flag is definitely Rookie of the Year, and it's not because I'm biased, but it is annoying. I've checked the previous 5 Rookies of the Year. Only one made it to playoffs. Scotty Barnes and the Raptors. Another one that made it to the play-in but lost was LaMelo Ball and Hornets. Yeah, I remember that one. I think that's the year that they got waxed in the play-in, if I remember correctly. He made 2 plans. It wasn't too successful. The rest didn't make it into the playoffs at all, and that includes the previous 2 Rookies of the Year, Wembanyama and Castle. It's so funny because I was talking to my brother-in-law, and he was, he's a Lakers fan, and we were talking about Victor and whatnot, and then he was trying to tell his wife, my sister-in-law, what's the guy's name again? I said Wembanyama. He just mispronounced it. It was funny. And to prove there's a bias against Cooper and favoritism to Khan, Stephen Castle last year, the Spurs didn't make the playoffs at all. And the second runner-up, Zachary Richer, the Hawks made it into the play-in. One thing on Richer, and I'll finish, Frank, what you're saying. Richer may have not been impressive, but he did contribute to the Hawks. If we're using the same logic this year to last year, then Richer should have won the Rookie of the Year, not Castle. I'm not crazy, but seriously, this is an individual award, not a team award. Frank, again, I shared my thoughts on my other channel on the NBA Observations with Caleb Ponce earlier on Monday. But if you give it to either one, I'm not going to be mad. They're both deserving of it. They've both had great seasons. Cooper's playing at an extremely high level. He is playing on a tanking team, as you know, in Dallas. But he's gotten the ball. He's getting the lion's share of the ball. He's getting lion's share. They're just telling him to do whatever it's necessary to get those numbers big, to where it's really hard for someone to not vote for him. And he went in a weekend, after 2 games, went from down slightly to ahead slightly. So I think with his performances, even though it shouldn't be just based off of 2, it should be based on the whole year and how they've been doing. It looks like it has changed a lot of minds at quite well, Frank, on that. But before before we head on out, guys, I got to tell you this one. Hopefully this will allow you to enjoy your day on a chuckle. As a guy who does 2 different Laker channels, Lakers Latest and my other one, I get a lot of stuff in my feeds on my social media on my time off. And one of the things that appeared in my feed on Facebook is I guess a meme. They'd like to compare things or whatnot. But one meme that came up with a comparison for the Lakers was the comparisons for Bronny James the past week for Bronny James, and the past week for Zachary Richer. Zachary Richer, the first pick in the 2024 draft, 15 points in the last week. Bronny James, the 55th pick in the 2024 draft, 21 points in the last week. And I thought that was funny when they had the side-by-side comparison. I'm just going, that does not speak well at all for the Hawks. But they've been able to win outside of that. And just think, if they had gotten Castle or even Sarr to a lesser extent. We were talking about that too on my other channel. And yeah, just to an extent of what if they'd gotten Castle or Sar. It wasn't a great draft. It wasn't a deep draft, mind you, but there were some picks out there, obviously better than what Zachary Ricochet is to the Hawks right now. And yeah, if they've gotten Sar or if they've gotten Castle, especially, man, they could be really flying high in Atlanta right now. But I will leave it at that. But if you guys have any thoughts or questions on the Lakers OKC, Lakers now being in fourth place, do you think they'll end up in fifth? Do you think they'll end up in fourth? I do, like you guys, want them to go ahead and play more minutes for the rest of the team because the fact I want the starters and the guys in rotation to play less minutes as we get closer to the playoffs. That would be fantastic. It might mean losses, but like Pinty says, he's the mindset of who cares, fourth or fifth. It doesn't matter for him. So again, play the young guys. So why not? Let's play the young guys and see if we can get LeBron a little less minutes out there on the floor. Again, Michigan. Or do you have any thoughts on Zachary Ricochet or anything else I talked about on the show? Please let me know. But again, just thought I'd fill your time up and get you prepped for tonight's game with Lakers and OKC. Hopefully, it's going to be a good day for you. Hopefully, it's going to be a great day for you as a Lakers fan. But yeah, if you have any questions, or even if you're not a Lakers fan like Frank, just let me know down in the comments below. Just want to hear from you. But again, thanks so much again for watching, listening. Please make sure you like and subscribe, hit that notification bell so you are notified when Lakers Latest gets uploaded right there for you. Courtesy of my friends at FanArc. And again, stop on by their main channel as well. They got a great bunch of shows featuring a ton of teams you need to check out today from my friends at the FanArc Network indeed. So for the FanArc Network, this is Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. I will be back with a recap of the Thunder and the Lakers. Keep on my fingers crossed. Can it be a miracle upon all miracles? Nah, it won't be that. But I still got to bounce the ball and play the game. But can it be overcoming a great obstacle later today at the crypt? We'll find out. I'll have your recap from the Lakers and OKC right here on Lakers Latest. Thanks again for joining me right here. Looking forward to your thoughts and hearing your words right back at you. And again, wishing you guys and gals, whoever's watching, a truly great